All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of O365A. In this episode, we have a partner product called Clerk Chat, and with us we have our guest, Jill Berkowitz, who is a content associate at Clerk Chat, and also a podcast host of the podcast 160 Characters. So welcome, Jill, to the O365A podcast. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what Clerk Chat is?
Sure. It's so nice to meet you all. I'm just going to mention I love hearing some Canadian accents there, especially when we were chatting before. So as you know, my name is Jill. I'm part of the Clerk Chat team. I'm currently a content associate. I'm responsible for doing all things writing for Clerk Chat, including things like our monthly newsletter, some blog posts, our company page on LinkedIn, lots of other things. We've obviously also recently launched our podcast called 160 Characters, which I'm hosting and I love. We've so far released 3 episodes, hopefully many more in the future.
Awesome. So I think, in our discussions before our call, let's just jump right into a demo of the Clerk Chat product. And I think it'll generate a lot of really good questions from the team here. We've been taking a look at your website and stuff, but I think seeing the actual product live and running would be awesome.
Sure, I'm happy to do it. Give me just a second to share my screen. Okie dokes, can you guys see me?
Yep.
You got the screen. Okay, so here I'm in our typical demo environment where we can show you pretty much how the product works. You can see that we're running directly in Microsoft Teams. I actually have pinned our app right here in the side. And for those who are unfamiliar, that app store is, right here where you can find all sorts of apps. Right here, Clerk SMS is where you would find it. You would normally click add, but I obviously already have it listed there, so I would just click open. And when I come back, the thing that I love the most is that it's so easy to navigate, especially when you guys probably don't know this, but I was actually a teacher for like 10 or 15 years. And I took a pretty drastic move into the tech industry. And while I don't normally call myself a techie, if you want to call it that way, I was able to very easily learn our product, and which was so important to me whenever I write any sort of content or maybe write a blog post where I'm giving some hints on how to use certain features. I like to use the product first. So we have this really cool plus sign, which makes it really easy to send an SMS to somebody. You also have your inboxes here on the left-hand side. So just as an example, I have one started here, and I could simply say, hi, this is a test, and you can send it. I'm going to go back to the other box just so you can see where it's sent. And you'll see it right here. What's really neat is that there are all sorts of pretty cool features here, including the ability to attach a file, obviously some emojis. You can either add a signature or disable it. We have templates, we have snippets. A very popular item is being able to schedule a message to be sent at a later date. And what's pretty neat about that is you can modify that if you change your mind or need to make an edit to it, or you could just altogether cancel it. We also have some pretty cool AI features that are a bit newer. And one other thing, I don't know, do you want me to stop? It sounds like you may have a question.
I just wanted to, I think maybe just for the benefit of our listeners and our viewers,
Sure.
Maybe let's just step back and maybe just give us an overview of like what the Clerk Chat software does. So I don't think we covered that sort of at the beginning. So I think interface is really cool, but I just for the benefit of everybody, if we just level set, I think that'll be awesome.
All right, so we'll back up a little bit. So Clerk Chat essentially allows you to send SMS from possibly a line that typically doesn't enable SMS. The cool thing about it is if you are already using something like Microsoft Teams on a day-to-day basis and you're using it internally with your colleagues, this also allows you to now send a message within Microsoft Teams, for instance, to either a contact or a client or a customer that maybe you typically wouldn't be able to communicate with within Teams for whatever reason. And so this sort of enables you to consolidate many of your applications. So a lot of our customers find that they're using one application for email, one application for talking internally, one application for texting. This is a way to sort of bring everything together.
Awesome. So it's kind of like, when I get text messages from like companies about like maybe some campaigns or product advertisements or something like that, where I'm just doing texting, but on their end is basically what we're seeing from a Clerk Chat perspective.
100%. And I guess another way to look at it is that there are times where maybe employees are using personal cell phones to message with a customer or client, and that's obviously not preferred by them. This is a way to eliminate that route.
And awesome. Jill, just to be clear, is this number that is assigned to the Teams user, or is this like a Clerk Chat number that's used for the SMSing?
There's either or. The cool thing about Clerk Chat is that you have the option to either enable an already existing number or you can choose an entirely new one. So a lot of our Microsoft Teams users come over to us with numbers and they want to enable those numbers.
Got it. Cool.
So by numbers have. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
I saw that you have multiple inboxes, so you can manage multiple numbers as an individual. Are you able to manage like who has access to which inboxes and who can maybe read or send based on the different numbers?
Yeah, that's a really awesome question, actually. One of the popular things here that I've noticed, at least in talking to customers myself, is that there's an ability to either use the same number to triage conversations so everyone has access, or everybody can use their own numbers. And to sort of clarify a couple of things for you, when you go to your settings, as an example, and you go to your team, and you go to your members, this is where you see all your team members, as an example. If you have admin access, you can assign or change their inboxes. You can assign or change their role. And then if somebody happens to leave the company, you can just delete them completely from having access to the product.
Jill, maybe talk a little bit about who, is this available across all of Teams phone system in terms of calling plan number, operator connect? Are there any restrictions or carriers that don't support it yet?
Sure. So a couple things. So, and I'm going to answer this to the best of my ability because some of it does get very technical. The first thing is that we do support operator connect. We do support direct routing. When it comes to something like calling plans and mobile phones, for example, it's provided either first party by Microsoft, which is white labeling a telco like bandwidth on the back end, or provided by a third party, like especially in the case of mobile, for the calling plan. And so it's a little complicated, and I want to try to explain it to the best of my ability, but because I'm not super technical, I'm probably not the best person to answer that question.
No worries.
But we do work with all carriers, essentially. So you can come to us with essentially almost any carrier, and we can help enable that phone line. Does that help?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I can say personally, I took a Canadian phone number on direct routing, and Clerk Chat was able to make my Teams number basically an SMS inbox, and that process was flawless and simple. Like they allowed that to happen. So, and I believe we were doing some testing a while back with Rogers Operator Connect numbers, and we were able to convert one of those as well. So from that standpoint, it's great. But are you able to talk a little bit about pricing or licensing requirements, anything like that?
I can.
For the listeners, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I actually just want to back up a little bit and just say that although I'm not part of the support team, I've interacted with them a lot and I talked with them a lot, and I've learned so much about the onboarding process. And something that I notice is really cool is oftentimes when someone is either having a demo with the team or maybe they've already started to onboard, they often do, if they're bringing a number over, they do check the number and see what's going on with the number to see how easy it is to move over, for an example. And we try to help as much as possible. I'm not that piece of the puzzle, but I know that we try to, as you kind of mentioned, make it as seamless for our customers as possible. So we're doing more and they're doing less when it comes to porting a number.
Nice.
So you asked me another question about licenses. Actually, it's a really simple question. You have to have a Teams Phone standard license. It's actually a very common question that we receive, and it's one that's fairly easy to troubleshoot because I found that sometimes one of the reasons that either Operator Connect sometimes doesn't work is because the right license isn't applied. And I know that you can go into your Microsoft admin panel, and if you go to a user, you can pretty much easily check if the right license has been checked or not.
But Clerk Chat, like your licensing structure is pretty straightforward, and you're basically, I think it's like, I can't remember if it was $10 or $20 per month.
For pricing.
Yeah. Like there's you just basically charge a rate per user per month for access to the service, correct?
Yes, and there are tiers. If you visit our website, which I can't access right now while I'm sharing my screen, but if you visit our website and you go to our pricing page, you'll see that there's a free plan. So people can trial it out first, which I think is pretty cool. There's a starter plan, there's an unlimited plan, and then there's a possibility to customize sometimes based on company needs.
Nice, thank you.
So Jill, back to the product, I noticed on the left-hand side, you've got a couple of items there, analytics and workflow. So for me, what does the workflow actually do? And is there things you can configure inside there, I guess?
Yes. It's really awesome. So when you go into workflows, the most popular way to do it, a lot of people love to use our workflows for something like away hours. I'm going to click on it so you can kind of see what it looks like. So when you go into a workflow, this is one that happens to already be created. It's very simple to do. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. It takes a little practice. We have lots of YouTube videos also with some tutorials, but this is a way essentially to automate. So if you set everything up properly, let's say you're going to be out of office, for example, let's say Thursday from 2 to 5 p.m. for whatever reason, you can set your away hours. So during that time, if you receive a message, Clerk Chat will automatically respond for you with whatever input you gave it. Hi, I'm currently out of the office, but I will get back to you after 5 p.m. Just as an example. So that's a super popular one, and there's a lot of versatility here and a lot of customization. And we've actually seen some really cool ideas come from the customers when it comes to creating workflows. And then if you want me to just mention, the analytics is a way to know what plan you're on. This is actually a very new feature that we just released, by the way. So this is probably the first time I'm showing it to anybody. It shows you how many messages you've already used in your plan and how many messages you have in your plan, how many days are left in the month, and then an ability to, for whatever reason, if you realize you want to change your plan, you could do it right there. And I will say that we listen to our customers. This has probably been one of the most requested features that I've been hearing, and we just did it.
So in this, sorry, go ahead, Curtis.
Oh yeah, just a quick question. So speaking of customers, I'm excited because Teams doesn't have SMS functionality built in. I've wanted it for years, but Clerk Chat, what's their go-to niche vertical? What are some like really good customer scenarios that organizations use in their business with Clerk Chat?
We have such a variety. I'll actually back up a little bit if you don't mind. So we have 3 co-founders. I would love to tell the story just a little bit because it will kind of give you the background here. But Igor, Alex, and Will were the co-founders, and they started Clerk in, I want to say, the summer of 2019 with this initial idea of a side hustle for like a little extra revenue. What happened is that Igor's sister, who's an audiologist, was using Slack at the time. She was using WhatsApp. She was using text, email. And she said, can someone just consolidate all this, for me? And so that's sort of one of the ways that Clerk Chat was born. And so a lot of medical professionals use Clerk, real estate, tons of IT departments, lawyers. I mean, there's such a wide variety. We have a lot of religious organizations as a way for them to reach out to their community. I've seen some really neat use cases.
That's great. And I see you can do a free trial, no credit card required. It's a Teams app. Do you know if there's any special permissions required, or basically an end user can install it themselves?
I'm not sure I understand your question, actually. You typically need a work email in order to enable it. So as long as you have a work email, you should be able to sign up for a free trial and test it out.
Okay. Just wonder if there's any like administrator permissions required on the tenant, or if it's just all user permissions, but it sounds like it's user permissions. Okay. No, that's great. And then other than SMS, is there any other, like just looking at the website that talks about WhatsApp and iMessage and Google RCS? Do you know if Teams has that integration too, or is it just SMS?
So when you're using, the best way I can answer this is that we have a lot of integrations. A lot of people who are using Clerk want to integrate a CRM as an example. And so it kind of, I guess, depends on what you're using and what you want to integrate, but it's very easy to do that. I don't know that I could speak on specifics exactly, but we do have a ton of integrations that do work.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
And if I'm just scrolling down, you could see that we're in the process of adding more.
Fantastic. Yeah, looks good.
Shopify was a new one that just recently released. Global Relay.
So I just have a question around the analytics, Jill.
Sure.
Right now, it's just a global, I guess, number as far as like how many messages are sent and stuff like that. Are you guys looking to add some additional reporting or analytics when it comes to like the user level to see like how many people have like sent messages and received, I guess, have been like I guess replied to messages that have come in?
So analytics is definitely part of our roadmap. The specifics of it, of what the product team is currently working on, I don't know, but I know there's a lot that they want to do moving forward. So it's a wait and see.
Awesome. And then from the management perspective, like as an admin, there's two roles, right? One is administrator, and then the other one is just a member. So
I'm gonna show you if you want, actually.
Sure.
So I'm actually blocking it. So there's actually more than that. There's admin, manager, agent, and then member.
Okay. And then when you are assigned specific things, you're only, I guess, I'm guessing that you'll only have exposed to you what your only allowed to see, or do you see
Correct.
like?
Correct. So I'll give you an example. We have Maruf here, who's a colleague of mine. You could see that we have 4 inboxes. He currently has access to recruiting and to his own. If I
Gotcha.
wanted, I could change that to add him to the main line. I could add him to the individual line. I could take him off recruiting if his role happened to change or his department changed. It's very simple.
Can you mix roles across mailboxes? So in the case, like maybe they're admin for one inbox, but only a member for another, or is it whatever role they have is across all the mailboxes that they have access or inboxes?
So I'm going to go with, I have to get back to you on that because I'm not sure. My instinct, that's a great question. I'm actually going to go back to the team and check on that. My instinct is that this role applies to everything on the inbox, but I'm not going to say that with 100% certainty.
And then on the contacts, are you able to, is that where the integration comes in from like into a CRM, or is that something you can upload?
Yes. So there's a few ways you could do it. You could do it through a CRM. You could do it through a simple CSV if you want. I actually want to go back to a message and show you something that I think is pretty cool. This is the contact information, if you can see, and it's super customizable. So when you pull information from something like a CRM, most of that will automatically pull over for you. But if you are adding a contact, you can add in all these values yourself. And what's really neat is that we have the ability to add a new property. So if there's something specific to your company or some categorization that you use, you can add that here for your own purposes. A lot of people use that sometimes when they're creating cohorts.
And those integrations, are they like a two-way? Like if a call comes or a SMS comes in, it can do a dip to a CRM to find out what the name is, but then you can update one of these attributes, and does that right back into the CRM?
I'm trying to, are you asking like bi-directional?
Yeah.
Is that the right wording for it? So it does automatically sync to your contact info. But I'm not sure I answered your question.
Yeah, I guess what we're trying to ask is if you make changes here, will it sync back to the app you're connecting to? I know I tried the Outlook integration, and I just let me pull my Outlook contacts in, and it did seem to sync it there, but I haven't tried any of the others.
Okay.
That'd be super cool.
Now I see what you're asking. I don't know that I'm confident in the answer to that question. I don't want to lead you the wrong way.
Well, we can post a few Q&As after the podcast on our site.
100%. Yeah, and I can circle back with you.
Yeah, well, we have for our listeners, we can post the questions and answers on our blog site.
For sure. Awesome. Yeah, so I think this is a really great overview around Clerk Chat and its capabilities and what you can do, especially like the workflow capability from it as well. So I just wanted to say, thanks, Jill, for coming on and showing us your product. And we'll be posting the URL and any responses to the questions that we have to Jill on the blog site at O365Eh.com. So again, thanks for everyone listening in, and hopefully we'll catch you on our next episode.
Thanks.
Happy to meet you all.